This week's episode is titled, Why Am I So Tired? Understanding Women's Fatigue and How to Fix It. Why are so many women constantly exhausted? In this week's episode, Teresa and I break down the hidden causes of fatigue in women: hormones, stress, lack of rest, and yes, even cultural expectations. We share some personal stories, practical tips, and a reminder that you're not alone in feeling tired of being tired. Tune in for honesty, laughter, and solutions that actually work.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Earrings Off. We want to invite you to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. You can find us on Facebook at Earrings Off Podcast and on Instagram at The Earrings Off Podcast.
Welcome to Earrings Off.
Hello. Today's episode is titled, Why Am I So Tired? Understanding Women's Fatigue and How to Fix It. I'm Teresa.
And I'm Lou.
Let's just jump right into this, Lou. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. How are you doing?
I am well I am well. That's all I can say. Yes, I'm doing
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I know
Good,
I
good.
sounds like I'm questioning whether I am or not, but I actually am.
Uh-huh. Good, good, good. Yeah.
So you want to give us some more about what we're talking about today?
Well, today we're talking about fatigue in women. And we know that it's a topic that will resonate deeply with our audience. We're talking about something that the question so many women are always asking: why am I always so tired?
And not just the kind of tired you get after a long day. We're talking about that deep, ongoing fatigue that sticks around no matter how much you sleep.
I know, I know. Teresa, studies show nearly 60% of women report feeling chronically fatigued. Wow. 60% chronically fatigued compared to about 40% of men. That's a huge gap. And it's not just because we're doing too much or getting older.
Exactly. Fatigue in women is often a mix of biological changes, lifestyle factors, emotional responsibilities, and sometimes even cultural expectations that push us to rest less and to give more.
I tell you, let's talk about the hormones because they're one of the biggest yet least discussed drivers of fatigue in women.
Ooh, that's something I'm experiencing right now, though. Probably
Oh yeah,
TMI,
yeah,
but this menopause
yeah.
thing ain't no joke, child.
Oh, I tell you what, it's real. It will rock your world, and not in a good way.
I
Yeah.
know women experience hormonal shifts throughout their life. We have menstrual cycles, pregnancy, perimenopause, menopause, and sometimes thyroid disorders.
Oh, and Teresa, let me just say this because you made me think about something. I just saw a news article where this woman had had her period like for 3 or 4 months, and she thought she was going into menopause. And her mom and friends were telling her that's just menopause. And she went to the doctor, and I think she had cervical cancer. So that when you said that, that just made me think to remind people to go get checked.
I know.
Even though we know there every woman is different, but make sure to see your doctor when you're experiencing things that may be abnormal to your body because again, the people who loved her when she was endowed and she was asking people, is this menopause? And they were like, yeah, that's what happens. And actually that it was not menopause. So, everybody's different, but I wanted to make sure I at least made that point to see your doctor. But estrogen and progesterone levels, for example, can impact sleep quality, metabolism, and mood. So when they're off balance, you might feel exhausted, even if you're sleeping enough hours.
Right. You can't ignore the thyroid. Women are 5 to 8 times more likely than men to have thyroid
Mhm.
disease, and fatigue is
Yeah,
often the first noticeable symptom. If your thyroid is underactive, your metabolism slows and your energy just drops. So I have had this conversation with my doctor. I was experiencing fatigue and it's like, what is happening to me? The first question he asked me about was my thyroid. And the first thing he
yeah,
wanted to do was run some thyroid tests. So those came back negative, thank God, but it is that menopause, right? For me, that is the
yeah,
reason why
yeah.
I
But
experience it from time to time, fatigue from time to time.
but Teresa, But Teresa, I am hearing from several women that I know that they have had problems with their thyroid. And
Mm.
I don't remember hearing about that as much in years past, but I am hearing about it now, you know?
It
So,
maybe it's a thing as we age, you know? It's
yeah,
one of
that's what
those
I'm
things that's
thinking. Yeah.
related to
Yeah,
aging.
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. And another thing that's impacting us and is a cause of fatigue is caregiving. Women are still more likely to be the primary caregiver for children, our aging parents, our other family members, even. So we, in many instances, are the primary caregiver in our different relationships.
And it's not just the physical tasks. It's the mental load, keeping track of schedules, planning
Oh, yeah,
meals,
yeah,
remembering
yeah,
appointments, paying bills, and managing
yeah.
the home. It's a lot, Lou.
Uh,
And I often
it's
leave
a
many of
lot.
those things undone.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is a
It's a
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
And Teresa, that's the kind of work psychologists call cognitive labor.
Mm.
And it can be just as draining as physical work.
The American Psychological Association, Lou, has found that
Hmm.
chronic stress, especially from caregiving, can disrupt sleep, weaken the immune system, which adds to fatigue. And you know what just recently happened to me. Had a very real situation arise with my mom, and I'm not her caregiver, but I'm helping her from afar just deal with her day-to-day
Hmm.
needs.
Hmm.
And this is additional work that has come as she's aging, where she needs a little bit more support and just getting through some of her day-to-day tasks. And I tell you, I didn't really see it as a disruption, but after getting through it, it absolutely was because I slept better and I was more rested. And it seems like the
Yeah,
stress, once we settled her situation, the stress just it was like a new day. The stress lifted off my
yeah,
shoulders. But that's
yeah.
exactly what it was.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what, and Teresa, see, you and I we're in different phases, and you're dealing with that, but I'm in the grandmommy mode role, and would not take anything for it. But I'm gonna tell you, when the were I a younger woman, I would be running around with the grandkids, and it would be a grand old time. It's still a grand old time, but after they leave, it's like, whoa, my goodness. I was tired. That was a lot. So yeah, different things. And certainly I'm not their caretaker in any means, stretch of the imagination, but just in terms of their routine visits, that can be taxing. But Teresa, another thing, of course, is nutrition. Many
Mm.
women are walking around with nutrient deficiencies that can go undetected for years.
Yeah, Lou, we're going to get low levels of iron, vitamin D, vitamin B12, and magnesium are all linked to fatigue. The
Mm-hmm.
the CDC reports that 1 in 5 women of reproductive age are iron deficient. After
Mm-hmm.
menopause now, vitamin D
Mm-hmm.
deficiency becomes even more common. And this takes me back to what you stated earlier about your friend or the article that you read, or I can't
Mm-hmm.
remember the circumstances, but around the lady who was having some issues. But going to your doctor, it's important to get these tests. Know what you need to know what your levels are, and they vary differently. They vary depending on your age, just like I just stated. Younger women need to know about their iron levels for sure, and older women, please know what your vitamin D levels are.
Mm-hmm. And I tell you, Teresa, this is the tricky part. Fatigue from nutrient deficiencies feels just like fatigue from stress or lack of sleep. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. The tricky part is that fatigue from nutrient deficiencies feels just like fatigue from stress or lack of sleep. That's why it's very important, as Teresa just referenced, to see your doctor and to get lab work done instead of just assuming that you're just tired and from not
Mm.
sleep or you haven't had enough sleep.
Yeah, and another thing we should consider when looking at fatigue is burnout beyond work. Now, burnout we tend to think of as a workplace issue, but it can happen in any area of your life.
It's so true. It's so true. And Teresa, you know what I'm thinking about? When I was in law school years ago, I was so, I think, overwhelmed and just fatigued from everything. When I would be in a car and it wasn't moving, I felt like I was moving.
Is that
I
right?
had that, yeah, I had that experience a few times. And a couple of times, and I finally, when I went to the doctor, she said, it's just, you just got so many things going on. And you're going to have to try to start pulling it back. You're going to have to
Mm,
let some things go because all it is just the anxiety from
mm,
everything. And I wasn't resting well as a result from that stress because, you know, burnout is basically emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion from prolonged stress. And I was experiencing that at some times. But for women, it's rarely just work stress. It can be all of the different stressors that we are having to deal with, plus caregiving, plus household management, plus, again, everything else we find on our plate.
and when your body is in chronic stress mode, cortisol levels rise. Over time, that can disrupt your sleep, slow your metabolism, and make it even harder to concentrate.
That is so true because Teresa, I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but if I'm really under stress,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have a hard time figuring
Hmm.
stuff out and concentrating. Things that have in the past not been hard for me to navigate. It's like somebody just, there's a fog over my brain and I cannot figure it out as quickly as I have in times past or as I have become accustomed to doing. So that's why you can be tired, you can be tired even after a good night's rest. Your nervous system hasn't had a chance to reset.
Hmm. I have experienced it, Lou. Absolutely, I have. But let's talk about some practical ways to boost energy naturally. So, what can we actually do about it? Here are some proven steps you can take, many of them starting today.
Number one, we already referenced, get your labs checked. Ask for tests on iron, ferritin, vitamin D, vitamin B12, magnesium, and thyroid function. If something's low, Really, correcting it can be a game changer.
Number two, and don't sleep on this one, hydration. Aim
Hmm.
aim for at least half your body weight in ounces of water every day. That is controversial, I know, but give it a try. Even mild dehydration can cause brain fog, headaches, and fatigue. And oftentimes, Lou, for me, I just simply think I'm hungry. And if I drink some water, it was dehydration that I was experiencing. Would feel better.
Sadly, when I think I'm hungry, I don't know if it's dehydration because I typically eat something that's part of my problem. But anyway, I digress. Let's go to the other things that we can do. Prioritize sleep. That means aiming for 7 to 9 hours per night, keeping a consistent bedtime and wake up time, making your bedroom cool and dark, and avoiding screens 30 minutes before bed. And I'm going to tell you, that 7 to 9 might sound like a lot, but folks, if you've been listening to this podcast, you know I'm into sports. And LeBron James, the premier athlete that he is, he sleeps a lot every night. His family jokes about how he makes that a priority. If he's not playing a game, LeBron is in bed early because that is a critical part of his health protocol. So again, make sleep a priority. You don't have to be a star athlete to make that a priority. You can understand the importance of it yourself for you to perform well every day.
I say if you're not sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night, give it a try and you will notice a difference. I mean, almost
Right.
immediately.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. I tell you. And the other thing, Teresa, listen to your body because sometimes I may not get that 7 to 9 hours every night, but sometimes my body is clearly telling me I
Hmm.
need some sleep. And I will go to bed early and I shock myself. I sleep all night long. And I'm
Hmm.
like, I can't believe I did that. But my body was telling me it needed rest and I listened to it.
And this next one is really important too. You got to move your body daily. Gentle activity, walking, yoga, stretching can improve circulation, regulate your hormones, and lift your mood.
Protect your energy. Set boundaries and say no to commitments that drain you. Your energy is valuable. Don't give it away without so much as a thought. Think about it, what you're committing yourself to, and think about what you're scheduling into your day. Learn to step back a minute and think about, okay, is this something that I need to put in my schedule, on my calendar, or is this something I need to say no to protect my energy?
Yeah, I love that. The bottom line is I think it's important to remember feeling tired all the time is not just part of being a woman or getting older. It's a sign
Mhm.
that something needs attention.
And hear this. Fatigue is a signal, it is not a badge of honor. And ignoring it only makes it worse.
And while we might joke about wanting to have a 10-day nap, I know what we
Yeah.
really need is a sustained commitment to self-care, rest, and proper health checks.
So, if you've been running on empty, start by listening to your body, get tested, and make small changes that protect and restore your energy.
That's it for us today, y'all. Thanks for joining us. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who's always tired.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Earrings Off Podcast for more conversations like this.
Take care of yourself.